Live. I know that you remember one of my all-time favorite models and
Yay.
good friend, Julissa.
Hi guys.
Third time on DYFL, and what's so funny, it's been 3 different studios.
Yes.
And we were just talking about how it's progressed every time. So I don't know if you guys
Such
remember
a
back
boss.
in the day. Wow, you're so funny. We were just reminiscing about the first time we worked together, and for those of you who are on the All Access Pass, or those of you who are my day one beginners, you'll remember that we did an Indian bridal makeup look on her. Like I literally changed her ethnicity.
I slept in it for about a week, and I literally started getting so many like Indian boys that were like into me and looking at me and DMing me. I was like,
oh my god,
it goes down.
I literally changed her ethnicity. It was the best, and that was back in my Burbank studio at home when I was living in Burbank, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and then. And then you came in for the summer bronze tutorial,
yes.
which we did in a smaller unit that we had. And now we're in this grand, beautiful penthouse.
She is living so large, you guys. I mean, at some point, if it wasn't such a setup,
it's not mine.
I would want to pan around this room. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so proud
One day
of you.
I will show you the studio. I have Dress Your Place, furnishing everything. We have the couches and the chandeliers up and everything, but once it's ready, I will definitely show you guys a tour of our penthouse studio here at Live Glam Studios and Dress Your Face Live. It's incredible. You guys have to see it. But until then, it's still a little bit, under construction.
Which is crazy because it looks amazing
done.
Already, so I cannot wait to
we have very high standards, so we just really want to do those final touches before we show you. But anyways, today's class is super exciting. Why? Because number one, I get to have her back for the eyeliner tutorial. And when I asked her, I was like, would you be interested in doing an eyeliner tutorial with me? She was like, yes. I can never get it perfect. I was like, okay, perfect. This is great because she's gonna have a lot of questions, which means a lot of your questions will be answered too. So that's a plus. Number 2, because I changed the date, I was supposed to do it Friday. I got sick and went to ER. So I ended up changing it to Sunday, and I was like, wait, instead of an evening class, I'm gonna open up my afternoon. Let's do it in a time when a lot of my European girls and Asian girls and my African girls can watch it live and participate in Q&A. So I'll make sure we get through this nice and efficiently so we can answer your questions too. So if you guys want to ask any questions, this is the post to do it on. It's going to be on my little eyeliner collage on my Dress Your Face page on Instagram. So just go to the bottom, ask your questions there so that I can answer them later.
I'm so hyped that my eyes are about to look like that post.
It's amazing. Oh my god, she's gonna go from really natural eyeliner to crazy double wing, double inner wing, all that good stuff.
To really trying to find a boyfriend.
Intense. Like Arabian Prince is gonna come after you at this point.
Yes.
Yes.
Sign me up. Aladdin anyone?
Funny,
I'm
right?
with it.
Hey, I can hook it up. I can make things happen here on DYFL. So,
which is why I stalk you. It works.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, this is too funny. We should have a dating service.
I know, right?
But yes, I'm super excited for that. And then, of course, third, this was actually your request. So many of you guys asked for a class where I only talk about eyeliners and nothing else. So this next hour is really going to be dedicated to making sure you guys understand the easiest and most efficient ways to do eyeliner for yourselves or for your clients. And I'm gonna start off by talking about the different products that I carry in my kit and the brushes, and then we're gonna go on to the actual demonstration. So we will be talking about how to do eyeliner in a very natural, soft, kind of smudged way using powders instead of liner pencils. I'm gonna talk about pencils as well. We'll go over gels, we'll go over liquid liners, we'll go over glitter liners and piggybacking liners for custom effects. We'll go over different techniques such as the Arabian eyeliner look with the double wing and the inner little corner piece, which is also, you can call it a cat eyeliner as well, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's gonna be very, very informative. And what I would love to see, as you guys practice these techniques, that you may not get it perfect the first time, and that's okay. Never ever beat yourself up over eyeliner. This is something that really comes with time. You can't expect perfection right away. And if you do get it right away, that's awesome. That means you're ready for the next thing, the next harder thing. But for those of you who, you know, really need to improve and feel like this is a class where you can learn a lot, I would love to see your before and afters of your eyeliner work. So maybe if you want to tag me and hashtag Dress Your Face Live on a post where you can show me your eyeliner before you took this class, on a sample of yourself or a client, and then put it next to after you've practiced a few times using the techniques that you're gonna learn in this class. So I would love to see that progress right next to each other, and I would be happy to feature my favorites and most improved eyeliner progress pictures on my Snapchat, DYF-Tamana, like I usually do. And I still am seeing your recreations of last month's classes, and I'm just amazed. You guys are so good. I'm getting like teary-eyed almost. Like you're my babies and you're doing so well, and I love featuring you guys on my Snapchat. So
Tamana, will you feature mine with the one soup in the eye? Because it's only just one that comes out great.
Only take a picture of that one then.
Only the one
or
eye.
Like show that this one has a before and this one has a after.
I'm like, no, I was going for the Aaliyah bang. That's really what I wanted. Yeah, right.
The Aaliyah
it's just because the other eye looks completely different.
Oh my
so
Lord.
I'm so excited for this class too.
I know, it's gonna be really epic. So here's what we're gonna do so you guys can get a really good view. We are going to zoom in as deep as we can to make it really sharp and really detailed. And of course, if you guys wanna watch this on your TV, like a big screen or your computer, that would be better so you can really see inside. If you're watching on your phone, that's fine too. You can still understand the details, and I'm gonna go nice and slow for you, but I highly recommend hooking up your laptop or whatever to a big screen, or you know, if you don't already have a big screen, so you can really see the crazy details. This is going to be one of those types of classes where you really need to pay attention to every little stroke that I'm doing, how I'm holding her eyelid, how I'm holding the brush, you know, all sorts of things. So at this point, I'm gonna show you the different products we're gonna be using, and we're gonna go ahead and use them. So first things first, I want to share with you my top 5 favorite brushes, and I'm just gonna, you know, hold it up like this right next to her so you can see the detail of the brush. So number 1, I kind of grew up learning how to do a winged eyeliner using the MAC 263 brush. If you guys want to if you guys are watching this on your phone, by the way, you can screenshot this and keep it for your records if you don't feel like writing everything down. But I do recommend writing them down because some of my brushes don't show the numbers, so you might want to write it. So 263 from MAC. It is an angled brush. The reason why I like this particular one is because look how sharp it looks. Look at that. Ooh, it's like a razor. So I love how sharp it is. You can get a really nice slice of a wing with this brush. So definitely, I love this brush. My next favorite one is right over here, the Morphe winged liner brush, which is nice and small. So I'm going to compare this to the previous MAC brush so you can see the comparison in width. There we go. So the Morphe one on this side is much tinier. I like that for the inner corner. I like that for detailed work. And the Morphe one is, this is the number if you want to take a picture. It's Morphe M160-1/16. Again, it's M160-1/16. That's the Morphe tiny little winged liner brush. Okay, so those two, and then I have a few more that I want to show you as well. And then there's other brushes too that I have in my kit, which we can totally use for other little things, but these are my other 3 brushes that I like to use. I'm going to hold them all up so you can see. First, there's this one here. This one is the Anastasia number 3 brush. Anastasia number 3. And this is a nice pointed winged liner brush. It does make life a little easier. It's really dense and it has a nice sharp point to it. So I like to keep this in my kit in case I really need to get in a corner somewhere or if I need to refine my work. And then we have the Sigma winged liner brush. Sigma winged liner brush is very similar to the Anastasia one, but it's a little tinier. So for extreme detail, this one really works well. Again, it's Sigma Winged Liner E06. Okay? And then last but not least, I have a double-ended straight liner brush. So for those of you who are not into the whole angled brush thing, I have this double-ended one from Tarte Cosmetics. And it's just from their Sustainable Bamboo collection. And it's just a double-ended liner brush. And one end has a little bit of an angle to it. The actual brush is not angled, it's straight and tiny and pointed. But this bend kind of helps you to get in there without having to like bend your wrist so crazily. And then this one's just a straight version if you prefer that. And I like that it's double-sided because I can use black for one, and then I can piggyback it with like a fun color, and I don't even have to change my brush. I just flip it over to the other side and it makes life easier. Now, for those of you who are asking why the heck do you have 5 different brushes and 3 of them pretty much look exactly the same?
If I had a thought bubble that was coming out, that's
Is that
exactly
what you're
I was thinking. Absolutely.
Because they are very similar, especially these middle 3. They're very, very similar. And the reason why I like to have all 3 is because for me as an artist, I notice very, very tiny variances in the brushes that really do help. So like one may be more dense, one may be more pointy, one may be more whatever, and all of these things kind of offer me different I don't know, different effects with my eyeliner depending on what I want to do. And also it's always good to have several eyeliner brushes because I don't know if you guys have ever used the Inglot liner. It's the gel liner from Inglot Cosmetics. It dries so bad on your brush and it becomes so gummy that sometimes you actually either have to clean your brush or switch brushes altogether while you're still working on the same client. So I like to have several of each available. I actually do have way more eyeliner brushes than these, but I've narrowed it down to my top 5 to make it easier for you to choose which one you want out of these, or if you want a couple of them. They're fairly inexpensive, and none of these are too pricey, especially the Morphe ones. They're very, very affordable. You could use my discount code DYF to make it even more affordable. But definitely load up on eyeliner brushes if you're using gel liners because it is going to get very gummy, especially if you're taking your sweet time on one eye and then by the time you get to the other eye, your brush is all hard. It's good to either switch it up or you're gonna have to clean your brush and start all over. So those are my top 5 brushes, you guys.
Let's be honest, you can never have too many brushes.
You can't. I literally have like the same brush over and over and over again in my kit. It's pretty redundant. Okay, and then the other brushes that we will be using in this class, just so I can show you, these are not eyeliner brushes per se, but these are, you know, other brush things that we will be using today. I might even use some others, but I think these are the main ones that I will show you. These ones help with blending the bottom part of your liner. So one of these, this little tiny guy here, I love so much. Like, you guys have no idea, this is my baby. And this is, yeah, it's Morphe 515. This is the Morphe 515. It's this little guy. And I love setting and smudging the bottom lash line with this brush. Now, I have a couple of these pencil brushes. One is from Morphe. This is the 169 brush from Morphe. And then I have a slightly more tapered one from Sigma. And that would be the Sigma E30 pencil brush. E30 pencil brush from Sigma. And so I like this larger one for more of a bigger smoked out section underneath the eye. And I like this tighter one for someone who doesn't want to go so thick under the eye with the smokiness. So I have both. And then last but not least, the one that I really like to smudge the wing with sometimes and extend liners with is this MAC 212 brush. MAC 212, it's nice and flat, it's dense, it's sharp enough not to ruin your wing. It's just good to have in the kit. So these are the extra 4 brushes that I typically use when I'm smoking out the eyeliner at all. But these are not what I apply the eyeliner with, okay? All right.
Since we're focusing on eyes, clearly I didn't focus on my hair. So. Sorry that it's getting in the way.
No, not at all. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with a very natural look first. Now, before we even do that, I wanna give the lashes a little boost. So I'm gonna curl her lashes. Go ahead and look down to the floor, and I'm just gonna get in and pump with my Shiseido lash curler. Pretty, pretty.
Shiseido's still killing it in the lash curler game,
Yeah,
huh?
it's still my favorite. Maybe I'm old school, but it's still my favorite. And I am gonna add just a little bit of mascara. I am going with a waterproof formula just because we are gonna be going through a lot of different eye looks today, and I don't want your mascara getting all messed up in between. So I'm gonna use the Hypnose Drama Waterproof Mascara, my favorite. My super, super, super #1 favorite. And I'm just gonna use my wand here. And we'll do just a light little coat. Before we end this class, of course, I'm gonna completely doll her up with a little extra mascara at the end too. Beautiful. I love this mascara. It just kind of fluffs up the lashes really nicely. And then the more you put on, the more crazy spidery it ends up, which I love too. So go ahead and look up to the ceiling. We're gonna do a little bit on the bottom. Now, one of the things that you can do if you don't wanna wear eyeliner on the bottom is just smudge your mascara wand across the bottom lash line. And it starts to create this like shadowy look right there. And what I love is when it does smear a lot, like I'm gonna smear a lot right here so you can see what I'm doing. So I just smeared a lot, look at that, crazy, crazy. Now with that Morphe pencil brush, which is the M169, I can go in and literally smudge it right across and go in between the roots of the lashes. I can separate her lashes, pick up any extra products. And now I have a smudgy liner on the bottom where all I have to do is add like a nice bronzy color. So for example, I can go into the Carly Bible palette and use this bronze tone. Any bronze tone is fine if you want a really soft look. And I can just sweep that over the mascara smudge, and it grabs on so beautifully. Go ahead and look into the camera, and it just looks like a soft, smoky, smudgy look. It's really, really cool. And you would just kind of fade that down, and you have a smudged lower lash line. You didn't even use liner. Literally all I used as her base was the mascara smudges, and then I threw on some eyeshadow over it, and it grabbed on to her mascara smudges, and it even took away all of her clumps that were on her lashes. So that's one of the ways that I create a little bit of definition on the lower eye without having to use liner. This is for someone who wants a very soft and kind of like a smoldering eye look without looking like she's wearing too much. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'm just gonna fill this part up so they can see the edges. Okay, cool. Open. Very pretty. So that was the first one. If you guys want to see how I do a smoky liner on the top, I basically just go in with this flat liner brush. I'm not applying any liner, I'm just applying eyeshadow. And I'm going to go in with a dark colored eyeshadow. So same Carly Bible palette. I'm going into this dark brown. And what you want to do is you want to hold the brush upside down and lift up the lash line and pull upward. Here, I'll move my hand so you can see. I'm just pulling upward. Pressing and pulling. And as you do that layer after layer, it'll start getting more and more smudgy and sultry. You can even mix a little bit of black eyeshadow in there. If you guys have my old palette with Anastasia Beverly Hills or any of the new palettes that have black in it, you can just dip in a little bit of the black eyeshadow and do the same thing. So I just put a little bit of black in there. Then you want to hold the brush upside down and pull it upward so that it has a nice fade to it. Ooh.
That's nice.
It's really soft and pretty. And then fallout, you guys, you gotta dust it off right away because you don't want that fallout to get stuck to her skin at all. So that, my dears, is how I create a very shadowy, soft, kind of an eyeliner look. And whatever's left on the brush, if you want to create a wing, you absolutely can. And you would just use that 212 brush from MAC or any flat little brush and just smudge it outward. So then if you go ahead and look back into the camera, it just has a little flick at the end. And then pair this with dramatic false lashes and you basically have a very finished eye. It's just that there's no major eyeliner on there. So this is a really awesome look for your clients or for yourselves, where if you don't want to look super made up, but you want definition in your eyes and you want that little bit of a sultry look, it'll give that to you. And I do recommend pairing it with a little bit of false lashes, so your lashes could be the main focus of this look and not your eyeliner.
Maybe like a demi-wispy lash?
Oh yeah, demi-wispy is fine. Even the glamour wispies, honestly, would be okay because there's still just one layer and the band is invisible. We're talking about the Ardell lashes. So if the band is invisible, your lash band, your false lash band, if it's invisible, that will work for this type of eye look. You definitely don't want to use a lash band that has a very thick black band on the bottom because it will basically ruin the fact that you're not wearing liner.
It'll be too obvious.
It will be very obvious, it won't be blended, and it's going to look like eyeliner anyway. So the whole point is to not look like you're wearing liner for this look. So definitely stick with the invisible bands or individual lashes. All right, we're going to move on. This eye, I'm gonna do a different look.
That was so easy, and
right?
didn't even strip tape off my face.
Couple of minutes, and it just looks very soft and put together, you know, nothing insane. So I'm going to do another look. This one is gonna be the second look on the Instagram post, and so far we did something more along the lines of this, something more along the lines of this one already, except this one I went a little bit darker, more black, and on her we went a little bit more chocolatey and bronzy. So you could do it with any color, it's totally fine. Even dark purple would be amazing for this. So now we're gonna move on to this one, which is, actually I'll do it on the same eye because we can totally piggyback that. We're gonna do a very pale waterline, and I'm gonna show you how I begin the cat motion on the inner corner and I drag it out. It's going to be not too crazy. Once you get that light color on, it's not too wild. You can absolutely do this, you know, it shouldn't take too much practice. So this is the pencil eyeliner that I'm going to be using for her waterline for the nude. This is Urban Decay 24/7 Waterline Eye Pencil in Walk of Shame. It is a beautiful nude and it is meant for the waterline.
And the name is very appropriate for a Sunday. For a Sunday, it's like right on.
Walk of Shame on a Sunday.
If you did the Walk of Shame and tuned into us, holler.
Too funny. So what I'm doing is, I want to make sure you're in focus. How are we doing? So what I like to do is either with one hand, I can pull down very gently on the little pad under the eye. So if you just press into the pad, the waterline pokes out and then you can get in without touching her eyeball. Or what I've kind of realized is a little easier for me is I just use the same hand, but I just use the end of my pinky finger to fold it over while I'm going in. So I'm going to basically scribble back and forth until it's nice and bright. Back and forth. I'm gonna go all the way in. Wow, I totally just broke that pencil. Fail. Okay, so I totally broke the pencil. Let me go ahead and sharpen it. I guess this is the beauty of going live. that was the Urban Decay 24/7 waterline pencil. In my opinion, obviously, it is very soft. So you have to be a little bit more gentle than I was. Okay. So I'm scribbling a few layers here because I really want to make sure it's really bright. And notice that I'm also going into the tear duct zone. And I'm spilling out on the wing. Okay, so now I have a nude waterline and a nude wing. What I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna set this with a light, bright, almost white eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go into my MAC palettes and grab a white eyeshadow to set it. And I'm going to use a very, very tiny brush. So I'm going to go into my lovely little guy here to set this. To make anything more waterproof, it's very important to set it. Okay, so I'm going in with white frost just to brighten it up. And I'm just, by the way, white frost looks like this. It's a MAC color. It's just called white frost. It's a pearly white. And I'm dipping in very lightly, just using the tip of the brush. And I'm dotting it along, stamping it along the entire waterline so it brightens. If any little dust gets in your client's eye, they can blink and it will be disintegrated. And I'm going all the way into that inner corner. And I'm gonna pull all the way outward to that outer wing. So now it's completely set. She can roll her eyes and kind of get rid of any little bits that are in there. All right, cool. Now I'm going back in with that flat liner brush, the 212. And I'm dipping into a dark brown, the same one from the Carly Bible palette that I used earlier under her eye. And I'm going to extend that shadowy wing. And go ahead and look forward. I'm also gonna go right under that white part that I spilled over her lash line. I'm gonna go right under and stamp in a little bit of that shadowing so that it starts to almost look like that cat eye effect without being a full-on cat eye. If I want to darken it up, I can go into my black eyeshadow and really add extra definition. And pull it down so it fades into the bronze. So, if you ever want to do kind of a soft, edgy look, but not using any real eyeliner per se, not gel, not a black pencil, just keeping it a little simpler and just practicing your angles and your techniques, this is a great way to start practicing, and it just makes it a little bit easier when you're practicing with powder product rather than a gel or a liquid right away. So go ahead and look into the camera and we can see how cute that looks. I really like it. And one of the things that I also like to do is I like to go in and create a little bit of a point here and a double point on that outer corner, which is the next look. So I love how we're just kind of, you know, building into the next look, which is going to be this one here. So from here, we're gonna now add that inner corner. I'm gonna show you exactly how I add that inner corner. I'm gonna do a little liner on the top and I'm gonna flick it out. This is going to be using gel eyeliner. So it's gonna be a little tougher. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the gel later. I want to do a liquid real quick for you guys because I want you guys to see how easy it can be when you're using the right liquid.
Liquid is so intimidating.
It really is. There's so many liquid liners out there. Some of them are really amazing. I'll show you my top 2 favorites. Okay. So, oh, I actually have another favorite too. The Tarte Cosmetics came out with a really amazing one, but that's in my personal kit. I don't really have that with me right now. Okay. So, if you guys got your good view of this, you can go ahead and screenshot. Make sure you remember where everything goes. Again, just as a recap, a white or a nude waterline, you want to set it with a matching color or a lighter color powder eyeshadow to make sure that it does not move anywhere. And then you also have a little bit of that bronzing underneath, and we're adding a little bit of black and brown to the tail, to that inner corner, just to create a little bit more of that angular look, and you're starting that cat eye effect. So sometimes what I do is if I'm working on an eye shape that I'm not really used to and they want a cat eye look, I'll start off with this and then I'll build with a liquid or a gel, because this kind of gives me that guideline without me worrying about messing up, because it's so easy to clean this off. With a gel, it's a little bit harder to clean off, so you have to be a little bit more confident. So the liquids that we can use, there's a couple that I'll show you. One is the Arabian Nights Liquid Liner by Saleha Beauty. You can go to salehabeauty.com, and it's called Jet Black Arabian Nights Liquid Liner. My discount code with Saleha Beauty is DYF15, so you can get 15% off of all your orders forever. And then Girlactic, same discount code, DYF15, girlactic.com, and this is the Precise Eyeliner Marker in Black Noir. And I'll draw both on my hand so you can see exactly what the difference is. This is much thicker, denser felt tip pen, and it basically draws your whole line for you because it's pretty long. And then the Saleha Beauty one is a finer tip. It's a tinier pen, so I usually use something like this for like the inner corner when I'm trying to work a small amount at a time. And then when you press down on it a little bit more ink comes out, and so once you create your little guideline, you can press down a little bit harder to actually make the ink flow once you're ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and start applying her liquid liner. She's gonna close her eyes. And when I apply liquid liner, I like to lift the skin up a little bit so I can get really close to the lash line. And notice how I'm holding this pen. I'm holding it flat up against her lash line so that the pen actually does all the work for me, and I'm not really having to work so hard. And I'm going very thin. Very, very thin, just right up against her own lash line. Okay, go ahead and open so you can just see how thin it is. It's just going along her lash line. It's not really building any volume there. And then what I like to do is I just add a little bit of a wing. So we're going to piggyback on that white liner. And notice how I held that pen. I didn't go this way. I went this way, and I made sure that the angle of the pen matched the angle of the liner that I'm creating, so that I'm not making it too fat or too off, and I'm making sure that the tip of the pen matched right with that angle of the end. And if you need to extend it, then you can use the very, very tip and extend it very slightly. The trick is to not press hard when you're doing your wing. You want your wing to go really, really light, so you have to go very light with your stroke and not press hard at all. If you press hard with your wing, it's going to end up very thick, and it's not gonna give you that sexy little flick at the end. And then now we're going to work on that inner corner. If your client starts to water at all, you want to use a Q-tip or a dry beauty blender or something to absorb her inner corner. Now, if you want to avoid any cotton getting stuck in her eye, I really love these lipstick applicators. You can get them at any beauty supply. And I'm just gonna absorb the water that's in her waterline right now and in her tear duct.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah, I get really, like, when I use a Q-tip on myself, I cry more.
Mm-hmm.
So using these work pretty well. And then I'm gonna switch over to the Tiny Miny Saleha Beauty liner. And I'm just gonna connect that inner corner a bit. And I want you guys to see how I'm doing this inner corner. I'm gonna have her look that way, so it stretches her skin. So whatever corner you're working on, have them look in the opposite direction. So I'm working on this corner, I'm gonna have her look over there. And it stretches her skin enough so that I can actually get in. Can you see? Yeah. I can get in and follow that line to create a little point. So once your point is made, then you would connect it to the other side of the waterline. So you're creating a little bit of a V there. We're gonna let you dry up a little bit.
This is so exciting.
It is.
I'm like getting emotional.
I'm gonna make sure this outer corner looks nice and clean too. Okay, so once she's all dried up and ready, the last thing that I'm gonna do, just to make sure that nothing moves at all, is I'm gonna go into one of the Tiny Miny brushes. Any of the little angled brushes are fine. This is the Anastasia one. I'm gonna dip into the Noor eyeshadow, and she's gonna look there again. And I'm just setting that new line, especially in that inner corner, because I know that she gets a little watery. I'm setting that with the Noor eyeshadow. I'm picking up the fallout. And if you want, you can even sharpen up that lower corner a little bit. I love that thing. And now, just to clean up, like let's say you do that inner corner and it's still just not looking fine enough to you, you can go back in with your white eyeshadow with a small brush and literally clean up the edges. And it helps to re-brighten any areas that may have gotten a little fallout. And it makes everything just look clean again. You can even go in with like a regular flat eyeliner brush, like this, regular flat eyeliner brush, and dip it into your client's powder color. And soften up any of the white traces. So now we have a little bit more of that angled cat eye look. Go ahead and look right into the camera. And it just looks really exotic. It gives this effect of elongated eyes. The only time I really don't like doing this is when someone's eyes are already quite close together. In that case, you definitely don't want them to, you know, go in even closer to the nose. So imagine if both of the eyes had this point, it would look very close together. So if someone's eyes are already close together, you do not want to do an inner corner wing. You want to keep it either as a really small sharp point, which we'll do in a minute, or don't do anything on that inner corner at all and focus more on a dramatic outer wing. So let's say if you are working with someone that has close together eyes, I would focus more on this side with the outer corner wing and make it like super dramatic. So as you can see, I'm now like kind of thickening up the whole wing, I'm extending it and making it much more dramatic than before. Yeah. All right. So I'll let you pose for a few seconds there before we changed this eyeliner style up to something else. Again, it's really about not doing so many strokes also, especially when you're doing a gel or a liquid. Don't do so many strokes. Focus more on a clean, smooth, fluid motion. If you're using liquid, do the stamping across like I did, and then do a fluid motion afterward. And it does make your life a little easier. I'll go ahead and do the stamping motion again for you guys in case you missed it. Go ahead and close your eyes. So again, the stamping, you want to use the liquid liner flatly up against their lash line. And you would, you know, start on one end, work your way to the other end, flip it over, do the other end. And at the end, if you want to do one final swoosh, you can do that. And it ends up looking a little bit more even and very bold. Very pretty. Okay, so that's that for the liquid liner and for the inner corner and the outer double wing thing. If you're trying to do a more solid double wing on that outer corner, instead of the bottom wing being just made out of powder, I want to show you how I do that with a liquid as well. And I want to make sure that you guys get a nice idea of how dark we can go on that bottom lash line. So from here on out, the rest of the looks are going to have a very dark waterline, and the rest of it will be also quite dark. Overall, it's going to be very, very dark. So in order to switch this over, I'm going to grab another one of these lovely applicators, and she's going to look up to the ceiling, and I'm just going to remove by just wiping off that water line. Notice I'm not using a wipe because I don't want to ruin everything else. This works really well, especially if you're doing a bridal consultation, or even if you're doing your own eyeliner and you're like, I changed my mind about the waterline. Instead of using a wipe or a tissue, please use a Q-tip or a small applicator thing where you can just wipe it off and then like scrape it in a very controlled way so that you're not messing up the rest of your makeup and then you're wasting so much time trying to fix everything afterward. It's really ridiculous how much time can be wasted because of this. So for the waterline, I want to show you my favorite gel liner. I also have a pencil liner which works amazing for the waterline too, and that would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dark Side. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Dark Side waterproof gel liner. This is a pencil gel liner, which is really black and really waterproof. It's this one up here. My hand's gonna end up completely black by the end of class, by the way. So this is that. So if you guys are not comfortable putting a gel liner on the waterline, you can absolutely just go right in with this and use the Anastasia. See how black that is? It's gorgeous. Yeah, I really love it. Now I only did half of your bottom eye because I want you guys to also see the Inglot number 77 gel liner. And that one is, you can find this at certain Macy's, and it's basically a, probably the blackest black I've ever used, but it's probably also one of the hardest blacks to use. So if you guys are not comfortable using gel liners yet, I would probably practice with Black Track from MAC first. It's not a true black, it's like a charcoal black. So, and it's easier to wipe off if you mess up. So if you are not comfortable using a liner like that, thank you, then go ahead and, I mean, if you're not comfortable using a liner that dries so fast and is so black, then go ahead and use the Black Track from MAC. If you guys want to just jump right into the hardest stuff, go right ahead. I have no problem with that. In fact, I really love this eyeliner, and even from the beginning, I just knew, even though it's so hard to use, I cannot use any other So I'm picking some up, I'm putting some on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna mix it, smooth it out a little bit. Oops, there we go. And keep in mind, I want you guys to see, I'm just gonna rest my hand on your head. Look at how I'm sharpening the brush. So I'm sharpening the brush as if it's a knife, and I'm getting a nice sharp little blade going on here. So now I'm ready to actually apply on her. So I'm gonna go in and see how black that is. It's insane how black that is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Go ahead and face a little bit more this way. Yeah, beautiful. And I'm just gonna fill in her entire waterline with this. Except for that inner corner, because I still want to show you how to do that double wing on the inside and the double wing on the outside. Also, for that really sexy smudged look on the bottom, whatever's left on your brush, go ahead and add it underneath the lash line. So I'm going to go pretty thick under here. It's going to look messy, it's going to look a little barbaric and crazy, but believe me, there is a method to this madness.
Is this waterproof?
Yeah. It's really hard to remove. So you're probably going to be stuck with like really dark eyes for the next week.
Because I plan on looking at this for a week.
All right, so now I resharpened my brush. You guys can see how sharp this is. And I'm going to drag a wing. This is the MAC 263 brush.
Wow.
It's so dark. So you drag your wing. I'm gonna extend it, flick it outward. So
this
it matches.
Be good for watery eyes.
Oh, totally good for watery eyes. Isn't that insane? It's so dark and so beautiful. And so when you're doing your wing, you want to do it parallel to that top wing. So whatever angle your top wing is, that's how you want to do your bottom wing, vice versa. If you do your bottom wing first, you want to angle the top wing the exact same. So you basically want your wings to go in the same direction. You don't want them splitting up more as you go out. You don't want them coming together as it goes out. You definitely want to keep that gap really cohesive and really strong.
For beginners, how do you get it to where you can get that wing?
That perfect swoosh. So I'll demonstrate on my hands. The biggest, most important thing is you have to make sure your brush is super, super, super sharp. So we're just gonna make sure that you guys can see a little bit here. So the brush has gotta be really sharp. When you create your wing, don't press hard on your brush. Let your brush do the work. If you press hard, this is what happens. You get that fatty line and it disturbs everything. So as long as you let the bristles of the brush handle the stroke, you'll be okay. Also, the end of the wing, you want to start letting go as you go further out, so it goes into a fine point. So that's exactly what I did here. I only pressed hard down here, but as I went out here, I went very light with my stroke. And when you're extending it, just use the very edge of your bristle. Literally, I'm just using that very tip of the bristle when I extend it so that I'm not creating a fatty dot at the end. So you have to be, I mean, this is one of the things that really, it comes with experience, where you have to learn control on your hand and on your wrist. You need to make sure you understand the angle of the brush in comparison to the angle of the line that you're trying to create. It has to be exact. You have to also not go so fast. So don't worry about, like, you know, I've been doing this for a million years, so I can get it a little quicker. But for those of you who are just starting out especially, and for those of you who've been struggling and haven't found the right way to do this, when you're trying this method, don't go so fast. Take your time, be very calculated, know where your bristles are going before you actually are doing the work. So be calculated, be controlled, have a lot of control in your hand. If your hands are shaky, it's very, very hard. You have to find a way to keep from shaking. So find out what is it that's making your hand shake. Is it your nerves? Because over time that's gonna go away. Is it caffeine? Do not drink coffee before you're doing an eyeliner on somebody if you're gonna do a look like this. So make sure whatever it is that's creating your shaking, that you're trying to control it the best way possible. And if it is about the nerves, if the nerves is what's making you shake, You know, it's not like I'm recommending drugs or anything. What I would recommend is just take a deep breath and know that you got this. Because, I mean, you're part of the DYFL army, you guys. You have all the tools right in front of you, and as you practice, you're only going to keep getting better and better, and you just have to be confident in your own work, and you need to be able to check for yourself and see, is this good? Can I do better? What can I do better next time? It's never going to be perfect the first time. We all started off somewhere. I started off very, very blah when I was first working on brides, and I don't know how my brides were so happy back then. Maybe they had nothing to compare it to because I knew no other artists.
Plus, by the way, when your eyes are so dramatic like this, you can do the rest of your face so fast.
Yeah.
So
honestly,
you can really spend time on the liner.
Oh my gosh,
totally
I love
worth it.
spending time on liner.
I can't stop
never
looking
rush
at
this. I never ever rush
awesome.
this. So you're gonna look into the camera a little bit, and now I'm gonna show you how I do that detailed inner corner. So notice I've already sharpened my brush. It's like, look how sharp that is. And I'm going to stamp it and slide it. Stamp and slide. So I create that inner wing a little bit more defined. And make sure with every stamp and slide, you're not thickening the wing, you're only darkening it. So you have to literally go over your previous line. So whatever your previous line is, you have to go over it over and over without making it fatter. I'm gonna darken this too while I'm at it. All right. So now that those lines are done, now we have to soften that lower lash line. As you can see, it's looking chunky, it's very black and crazy. I told you that there is a method to this madness. It's not done. We still need to smolder out that lower lash line. So this is how I do it. I'm gonna start off with my little baby brush again. My little baby. I'm dipping it into the black eyeshadow. This is Noir from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the blackest black eyeshadow. For those of you who don't have access to Anastasia Beverly Hills, I'm not sure if you would have access to Dose of Colors, but Dose of Colors Hidden Treasure palette has a black in it, which is also very, very black. Let me absorb the tear again.
I'm telling you, this is just making me so emotional. The excitement.
Oh, another trick, if you ever have a client that tears up while you're doing the eyeliner, tell your client to go like this. Take a deep breath and like kind of sniff in so hard that all the water from your sinuses drains in the back of you and not through your eyes.
And look how sexy it is.
So hot, right? So hot.
So hot.
So we're adding that black eyeshadow right along the waterline and the lower lash line. And now we're gonna go in with the Morphe pencil brush, the 169 pencil brush, with that bronze color right below that. And that ends up creating such a soft, smoldering, smoky look. So it doesn't look chunky or crazy or anything like that. Like nothing looks bad. And I'm just gonna clean up any little mess I made. Look how pretty. I love it. So that, my friends, is how I do the double wing on the inside, the double wing on the outside, and a nice smoky bottom lash line. Depending on how big the model's eyes are or client's eyes are, you can go super thick with the lower lash line or you can go really thin. If their eyes are super small, you don't want to necessarily go really thin because it's going to close their eyes up even more. So remember, you have to always have a certain level of thickness when you're doing the inner corner. I mean the inner waterline with black. If you want to make their eyes look more doll-like, the previous look would be better for someone with really tiny eyes where it was nude along the entire waterline and only black underneath. That opens up the eyes a lot more. This one doesn't necessarily close the eyes, it gives it a deeper appearance. So if someone's eyes are small, it's gonna look like it's closed. But if someone's eyes are pretty average to large, it's not gonna make them look any smaller, it's just gonna make them look deeper. Which gives a very sexy, sultry appearance for evening where the other one kind of gives a more brightening appearance. So that's why I really wanted to show you both options so you guys can see how it looks both ways. So now I want you guys to see how I create a solid cat eye on this side. So I'm going to show you just with a gel liner and possibly maybe even using a liquid liner as well on this eye, how I create a very solid cat eye. So it's not going to be the double wing on the inside and the double wing on the outside. It's going to be a single wing on the inside and a single wing on the outside, but it's going to be very thick and dramatic and very dark. So how I do it from the beginning without having to build and build, I'm going to just go straight to it. We're going to use, I'm going to use a different brush because that brush now is pretty hard to use. It's very thick and gummy at this point. So we're going to go ahead and go into the Morphe wing brush here, the Morphe brush, and I'm dipping into the Inglot gel liner.
How do you clean your brushes?
Oh, I love this one here. This is the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. So I always have 2 or 3 bottles of this in my makeup kit just in case one spills or something. I've had that accident happen before and I was like stranded. So I always carry multiple. And then I have a big gallon one in my studio where I can refill my babies or use for deep cleaning. So I don't know if you guys saw my Snapchat last night, but I showed you how I clean my brushes. And so I was using this. It's amazing. Truly, truly, that one.
They
of
sell
my
that at
favorites.
Sephora now too.
Do they really? Oh yeah, right.
I saw it at the
That's
checkout.
Right. That's Cinema Secrets at Sephora
I was
now.
like, okay,
that's
Cinema
big.
Secrets,
That's
stepping
big.
the game up.
Yeah. I used to go directly to their store in Burbank, and load up over there, and then like all the makeup booths at the makeup shows and stuff. And then sometimes I would see it elsewhere. I forgot where. Either at Namie's or one of those. All right. So notice that I'm just going right in. I'm filling in her waterline. And I'm going to go all the way into her corner. Right in there. Okay? So do not leave any pink to show. All of it has got to be covered. And by the way, I'm bleeding over the edges. I'm going nice and thick. Don't worry if it gets really ugly and really messy, you guys. Look at this. It looks hideous, but it's going to look amazing, I promise you. This is just the beginning. And then what I like to do is while she's looking up, I like to start kind of extending this little wing area just so I get an idea of how high or how angled I want her wing to be. So it's just like a fatty, like crazy thing going on right there. So you guys, if this is how your eyeliner looks, don't worry, because we are gonna work with this. Okay, now that that's on, I'm gonna refine that inner corner. So I'm sharpening the brush like a knife. Now you can see it's a very sharp, see how sharp that is? I'm gonna create this nice little inner thing. Yeah, see, the smaller brushes do that.
The sharpening of the brush
Yeah,
is
it's key.
Such key to success.
It is key. It is full on key. Yeah, full on key. You have to sharpen your bristles, otherwise you're not gonna get that.
I mean, I know you consider this looking crazy, but I'm not totally mad at it.
You're like, that actually kind of.
I'm like, this is what mine looked like last night. Thank
my
God
God,
the clubs
so
are
funny.
dark.
Turn this way. And we're gonna do the same on this side. So you can see I have this like sharp wing. And I'm gonna kind of just extend it and straighten up this line so that it matches with that bottom there. I can go as dramatic or as thin as I want, but I want you guys to see a dramatic version, okay? So it's gonna kind of look like Batman when she's looking down. And close your eyes. Let's go ahead and do the top. So see how like it goes thick right there? I'm gonna start going thinner and thinner as I go in. It's gonna look cray-cray, you guys. Just trust me, you have to trust me. When my clients see this, they're like, what? Like I don't even know how to like calm them down. It's really funny because it really does look insane. But I just ask them to trust me and wait till the end before they judge. All right. And remember, you guys, you have to lift up the skin. Especially, let's say, like, if you're working with someone with really wrinkly eyelids, like an older person, you have to lift up, like, she doesn't have any wrinkles for me to lift, but you have to lift up all the wrinkle eyelid and get in there when you're doing your eyeliner on someone with crepey skin. All right, open your eyes. So that's super dramatic. And now go ahead and look chin this way, but eyes this way. Yeah. So she's stretching her inner corner so I can get in there and connect.
I was looking to see if you had gotten any of the liner on that part of the eye, the crease.
Oh,
how do you avoid that?
Oh, you have to set, okay, so sometimes what happens is if someone has a hooded eye, and you're doing such a wet eyeliner on them, and then they open their eye, and it can transfer up to their crease or up to the hood of their eye. The best way to avoid that is to set, like as soon as you're done doing the liner, set it with black eyeshadow. And then when they open their eyes, it shouldn't transfer. And then another thing that I like to do is I'll show you, actually, why don't I just show you now? It's gonna make your lives really happy right now. I'm going in with the black eyeshadow. I'm gonna set everything that I just did so that it doesn't fade or crease, or so that none of the gold eyeshadow gets on it. I know sometimes you guys have asked me what happens when the gold eyeshadow gets all over the black eyeliner and then it doesn't even show all your hard work anymore. So you have to mattify with the black eyeshadow first so that nothing can stick to your eyeliner. So it's like foundation and then setting it with powder so that nothing else sticks to your foundation. So same thing with this liner. So now she's gonna open her eye a little bit, and right where her crease meets her fold, I'm gonna make a little incision. Okay? That little wingy thing. It's gonna look like Batman. It's gonna look really cute. And I'm gonna go in with a really small cutie pie baby brush. And that brush is, let me find it first.
I love how you talk to your brushes with so much love and care. Come here, you cutie pie brush.
Terms of endearment.
That's probably why they cooperate with you.
Oh yes, my babies. All right, Morphe 506. This is the Morphe 506 brush. It's nice and tapered. So I'm just dipping the tip of the brush into the black eyeshadow. And now I'm gonna create this little V thing. Isn't that hot? Oh my God, yes, it's so sexy.
Ooh.
And now I can go in with like a maroon or a brown or whatever other shade and soften the very, very edges like a transition. And voila. Now the top eyeliner, even if she opens her eyes all the way, nothing can transfer because I added shadow in that corner and it ends up looking super sexy and super hot. Now the bottom still looks insane. So let's go ahead and start working on the bottom and then I can give you a better look. So back to the baby brush, the 515 from Morphe. And you guys, I continue using the Morphe brushes in most of my videos because they are the least expensive out of all the brands I'm using. I want to make sure that you guys are not spending so much money. I'm not a believer of spending a whole lot of money on your kit unless it's something that you know for a fact you're going to use and use and use and use and use. Especially like skincare stuff. Okay, I will splurge on skincare. I will splurge on a designer mascara, you know, things that I really personally love. But when it comes to brushes, unless you find one kit that can solve all your problems and all your needs, I wouldn't even invest in, you know, really, really expensive brushes. I love these type of brushes from Morphe and from Sigma and from MAC. Go ahead and look up to the ceiling. Like this one, 515 from Morphe. It's super tiny, it's super cute, it gets the job done, and it's a few bucks. And then of course with the discount code, it's even cheaper. So what I'm doing right now is I'm setting the waterline, and I'm setting the entire lower line, lower lash line, with the black eyeshadow, and I'm smudging. Okay, this is gonna look crazy again. Now I can go in with my Sigma pencil brush or my MAC one or my Morphe one, whatever pencil brush you have, going back into a bronze color. This is from the Carly Bible palette. And I'm stamping the bronze under the black. So on the lower part of the black. I'm not covering the black. I'm overlapping just that lower part of it. So it fades down. That's all I'm doing. Now I can go back into the black. I go back to that same brush. I'm not adding more black to the brush. It's just whatever's left on the brush. And I'm gonna blur the edge between the black eyeshadow and the bronze eyeshadow. And I can keep going back and forth until I'm really happy with the blend. So basically I want it to look like super black to super bronze. And do you see how soft and sexy that looks? Within just a couple of extra steps, which did not take long, it took a minute, you can create a very smoldering, gorgeous, dramatic eye look without making the eyes look smaller. This actually makes the eyes look huge. Go ahead and look down and see how that little bit of black eyeshadow right there creates the perfect sandwich for the wing. It frames the wing so beautifully and it flows together into this little point. So it just reminds me of a bat or like a black sparrow or something. It's really, really beautiful and dramatic, and it's very expressive. And I love it when I do go nice and thick on that outer corner to create a little bit of that dark right in there. So for me, this totally makes sense. For those of you who don't want to do any black in the eyeshadow and you want to focus more on the eyeliner, then don't go super thick with the eyeliner right there. Go a little thinner so that you don't have to go all the way up into the crease with that. But I want you guys to go ahead and compare both of her eyes. Now she's gonna look right into the camera. You can see both the eyes. One basically opens up the eyes and gives a very floated effect with the double wing and everything. And then the other one, the eyes are still looking bigger. It's not like one looks smaller than the other. This one looks huge because we went so over her barriers. We extended it so thick and so long, and we did an inner wing and an outer wing to create a bigger eye. So you don't necessarily have to use light colors to make your eyes look bigger. You can totally make your eyes look bigger with dark colors. You just have to go a little overboard with it. And honestly, let's cover this. Honestly, that doesn't look crazy, right? Like, it doesn't look weird. It looks beautiful. Like, pair that with a nice nude lip or even a vampy red lip and it's still not gonna look crazy. It's still gonna look gorgeous. Go ahead and look down again. Yeah, wow. I could just stare at this all day. This is by far my favorite type of eyeliner look, where I add a little bit of that black in there. So guys, now you know my little secret. How I get the eyeliner to be so dramatic but so wearable at the same time. It is intense. It's good stuff. So one more thing I want to show you. I know I'm dragging this class out. We're already a little over time, but I don't care because I have so much to show you. I want to now show you glitter and color, how to piggyback. So let's say if you wanted to do a color liner. There are so many color liners out there that create a very beautiful effect for the eyes. Some of them are pastel, some of them are bold, bright colors. Totally up to you what you want to do. I have a gorgeous minty color, a pastel mint.
Which that sounds exciting for summer.
So beautiful. And it looks so good with gold and black too. So this is Mint Clay Pot from Tarte Cosmetics. Ooh, I did a video with this when it first came out earlier this summer, but now I get to show you guys. So I'm going to dip into my Tarte liner brush. Ta-da! And I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of it with a clean brush, and now I'm gonna put this away because I don't want to double dip. And I'm gonna put it on my hand as a palette.
Wow, that's so
Isn't it beautiful? And now I'm going to sharpen this brush into a fine point as well. So it's all about sharpening. It's very rich and creamy. All right, now she's going to close her eyes. and I'm gonna piggyback. So I'm gonna be very careful, and I'm gonna draw right above her black eyeliner. So I like to usually start somewhere in the middle and then go back to that inner corner after. Isn't that gorgeous already? And so that you have enough space to work with. It's very hard to work when you don't have enough space. So create your space.
One of the tips I picked up from our tutorial a long time ago was starting the liner in the middle. Because I used to start in the corner, and by the time it get to the,
it'll go somewhere else.
oh my gosh, it looked like the drunkest line.
Oh man.
The middle.
Did that
start,
help you?
Oh,
Okay,
major.
cool.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad
that.
you mentioned that. Everyone works differently, but for me also, I totally agree where when I start in the middle, I don't lose my place. Okay, we're gonna turn. Oh my god, that looks so good.
It's just really hard to have that precision when you start from the corner and try to make it all the way out.
Oh, totally.
So the middle starting point is really good.
Same when I'm doing false lashes. I match up the middle of the false lash to the middle of your lash, and then I pop down the corners so that I'm not like totally off. Okay guys, see what I did? I went nice and thick throughout the middle. Nice and thick throughout the middle. And then I used the very tip of my brush to taper off on the outer corner and then taper off on the inner corner. And now you have this beautiful piggybacked splash of mint blue, mint green, and it looks so hot. I mean, if anybody wants a little bit of color, this is just what does it. You don't have to throw on a color all over the lid or anything. You could do that pop of color with your eyeliner just by piggybacking it. And for those of you who are not a fan of black eyeliner, use the mint by itself with a ton of mascara and you'll still get a little bit of definition. Although I'm a fan of always starting with the black and then going into the mint or whatever other color over it as a piggyback. So that's the piggybacking method. Again, you have to be very careful not to go over the black, but if you do, no big deal. Just redraw the black part that you went over. It's not a life or death situation. And you can do the same exact thing with glitter liner. So the glitter liners that I carry are from Urban Decay. They're super easy to use. This is the gold one called Midnight Cowboy. I use this all the time on my Indian brides. It's amazing. You can clean the brush in between uses as well, just using the same Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. It's a disinfectant as well, or you could use alcohol spray. So that's how you sanitize these things. But it's basically just a very, very thin, beautiful line. If we were to do a glitter line, I'll show you that on the other eye, so you can see how that looks. Go ahead and close. So again, starting with the middle, and I taper off and I let it kind of disappear as I get towards the end of the gold part. And now I'm tapering off as I get to that inner corner. And for the glitter liner or for any wet liners, you have to make sure your client's eyes stay closed for a while because we really need it to dry all the way. Glitter is the hardest thing to fix when it's wet and it smears somewhere. So you're gonna have your eyes closed for about a minute. I'll let you know when to open. But for now, you guys can start taking your screenshots of these looks. It's just so beautiful. Maybe I'll do a Snapchat while your eyes are closed. So my Snap family can see, in case anyone's been wondering what we're up to today, because they gotta know. All right, Snap. Check out the different eyeliner looks that I am teaching right now. Piggybacking, of course, the 10-second rule. We're gonna wait for this to dry, you guys, so we have a little dull moment right now. We use the piggybacking method. We did a mint green on one side. We did the glitter liner on the other side. Beautiful. I'm so in love with this. I'm so in love. Okay, let me test and see if it's dry. Here's the test to see if your glitter liner is dry. You fan it and you ask your client, while I'm fanning, does it feel kind of cooling on the area that I did your liner, or does it feel pretty normal?
It feels a little cooler.
Okay, so if it still feels cold, that means it's still a little bit wet. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer. I'm just gonna keep fanning to speed up this process. Again, you guys out there watching, go ahead and ask your questions on the Q&A section, which is the comment section of my latest Instagram post. So I can go ahead and answer those for you afterward. So I'm just fanning. The Tartist clay pot liner dries really fast. So that I don't have to really fan. It's the glitter that does dry a little slower because it's with a liquid base. So it does take some time. Okay, let me know when you don't feel so cold on your eye.
I think it's all right now.
Yeah? Okay. So once they say that it's
this
okay.
is a lot of pressure.
I know.
I don't know if I'm ready to open up my eyes. I think it's ready.
Oh, you think? Okay.
I think so.
So when they say they think it's ready, I just like to do a little dab test, and nothing came off on my finger, so you are definitely ready, my friend. Go ahead and open your eyes.
Can you slow motion this?
Oh yeah, let's slow motion it. Ooh. Oh my Lord, look
wow,
at that.
That's beautiful.
Oh, so hot. I love all the looks that we did today on you. Definitely, your eyes are very versatile. You could do all of them. But I do want to talk about what's appropriate for what eye shape as well. So while she is giving you the sexy eye looks, so you can screenshot, I'll just be talking in the background a little bit for a minute or so.
Smiles on a Sunday.
Oh! Hey, if we post a pic, that should be the caption. Smiles on a Sunday. So, one of the things that I like to kind of go off of as far as rules are concerned is when you're working on someone, like I said, with close set eyes. These are eyes that are closer to, okay, what camera am I on? Okay, these are eyes that are closer to the nose. You don't want to do an inner corner for those eyes. You want to focus more on the outer wing on eyes that are close together. That's going to spread them apart, and you can add a nice highlight on the inner corner of the eye to brighten that part off and make it look a little bit farther apart. For eyes that are already far apart, then in that case, you absolutely can go a little bit more dramatic with the inner wings, but I wouldn't go as dramatic with the outer wings. I would focus a little bit more on the inner wing and make sure your outer wing is about the same size as your inner wing, just to kind of keep it cohesive, but not much longer than that. I hope that makes sense. Also for hooded eyes, I definitely like this type of thing going on, because when you have hooded eyes, I actually have slightly hooded eyes. Actually, it's not slightly, it's pretty full on hooded. I don't know if you guys can even tell in my Instagram pictures, but
oh my gosh,
that was
you're
my
so
eye.
hood.
I'm so hood. But if you guys can tell my Instagram
I knew you had it in you.
I got the hood in me. I got the hood in me. So that's my eye in the Instagram picture. Keep in mind, I was raising my eyebrow slightly when I was taking all these pictures so you guys can really see the eyeliner more. But when I'm relaxed, you can't really see my lid very much. The top fold of my skin just kind of folds over the outer corner of my eye. And so when I do a very crazy outer wing, my fold gets in the way. So what I like to do when I do a crazy outer wing is I like to go thick over here, and then I do that little dark shading so that even when my eyes are open, I can still see this amazing cat eye shape, and my hood does not get in the way because I've darkened the crease over the hood. So that's one of the ones that I really like for hooded eyes. Or you could just go super thin with your eyeliner all over and not even worry about anything, you having to create any crease or anything like that. For very slanted eyes that already have a very cat eye shape, I just usually ask my clients, what do they prefer? Do you want me to extend your cat eye shape, or do you want me to soften it up and round you up? A lot of my girls that have very slanted eyes and very long, elongated eyes prefer a rounder look just to kind of balance it off. So if you're giving a rounder look to your client, don't do any wings at all. Don't do the inner wing, don't do the outer wing. Focus more on a smoky bottom. You could do a smoky top with a little flick if you want, but I wouldn't go crazy with any wings if you're trying to make your client's eyes look rounder if they're too slanted. So all those things, I hope it's all making sense to you, because it's really about balancing, and it's about kind of logical ways to balance the eye shape. So whatever they have too much of, go ahead and do opposite things to balance it out. So if their eyes are too close together, you want to extend their outer wing to balance it out, and vice versa. So Hope that helps. We got some amazing shots of you. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to catch up on your questions and we'll spend a few minutes to answer them. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of questions this time. I love it. All right. Oh, okay. Anika Saeed is asking about relatively small eyelids, so a low crease, but a large area between the lids and the crease and the eyebrows. So let me try to picture this here. Perception tricks and how to dress eyes that have relatively small eyelids. So the crease is low, but there's a large area in between the crease and the eyebrows. Okay, so when the lid is small and there's a big amount of space between the crease and the eyebrow, you basically want to shade your eyeshadow a little bit higher into that empty area. So for eyes like that, what I like to do is I like to bring out the eyelid color by adding something really nice and bright, something reflective, something in a light color, like a light metallic goldish apricot tone, for example, like a really light color. And I'll smack that on all over the eyelid to bring it out and to brighten it up. And then I'll go in with like a brownish taupe right in the crease, but I'll focus a lot above the crease. So I'll fade that color above the crease. And I won't even highlight the brow bone too much. I'll highlight it with just a matte, soft, creamy tone. So it's not super bright, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to maximize the lid space and minimize the eyebrow space, that area between the crease and the brow. So don't go super bright with your highlight for your brow, but go a little bit brighter with your lid, and that's gonna help to balance everything out for you. Also for the eyeliner, you don't wanna go super thick. If your lid is short and small, you don't have a lot of room for eyeliner to go thick unless you want a full-on smoky eye. So in that case, what you definitely wanna do is focus more on a thinner liner. And if you want your liner to really show, you can always do the wings. You know, the wings can totally help to make you look like you're wearing an amazing amount of eyeliner without having to go super fat and super thick all around. So those are my tricks for that eye shape. Salvia_KK is asking, whenever I apply gel liner to the layer close to the lashes, it's perfect. But above it, the liner sometimes appears lighter in color, and then the bottom is sometimes dotted. Usually I use Maybelline gel liner. What's going wrong? So if you're using the same exact techniques that I used in class, you should be okay. Make sure that you're using these techniques. Basically what's happening is if you're running out of color and it's looking lighter, that means the product is running out of your brush, or your brush is getting hardened where the product isn't being fluid anymore. Another thing could be the actual product. I haven't used the Maybelline gel liner, but I know for a fact that Inglot gel liner is so opaque and so dark and so dense that I don't ever run out of pigment when I'm drawing with this product unless it's dry, and then I just have to re-wet it on the brush. So using a very strong pigmented eyeliner that does not go sheer on you, and using a fluid motion with your brush so that it goes nice and smooth is very key. And if you're experiencing dotting, definitely stretch the skin a little bit when you're doing it so that there's no like folds of the skin that's creating the dots. And another thing that the dots can be created by is by dried product. So if your eyeliner, if your gel liner is very chalky and dry and like muddy or clayish, it's not gonna go on very smooth. You're gonna need something a little bit more fluid. I do have another eyeliner that I would like to show you guys. For those of you who are not interested in a gel liner that's in a pot because it dries so fast, I have one from Tarte. I'm not sure if I have it right here. It could be in my personal kit because I use it so much. Let me find it. You guys will love it. It's the, oh, here it is. Yay. It's this one. So it's the Tarteist Clay Paint Liner. And it's really awesome because it's actually a gel liner that is in a tube. So it will never dry up on you. And you just squeeze it out on the back of your hand like that. And you can dip your liner brush into it and it ends up just being perfect. So definitely, if you're not happy with how the gel liners dry so fast and all that stuff, you can use this product, the Tartist Clay Paint Liner, and it's amazing. It's so smooth. It will never dry up on you because it's in a sealed tube. So there's no oxygen going in. Okay, next question. Okay, a couple of these questions I answered during class, but I'll go ahead and answer again just in case you missed it. LeanneMUA.XO is asking about wing liner on more mature skin that isn't smooth, skin that's crepey. Basically, you need to lift up the skin, get the skin really smooth, and draw your liner. But just so you know, in case you are working on someone that has super wrinkly eyelids, doing a sharp eyeliner is usually not recommended because when you let go of all the skin that you just pulled up, it kind of creates a very papery effect on the eye. So in their case, what I normally like to do is I'll do the gel black liner if they want me to, but I'll also add a nice amount of black eyeshadow and then brown eyeshadow over it to smooth it out. So remember what we did on the underneath part where we did black and then we faded it to like a bronze? You could do that on the top too. So start off with the black, go nice and dark, and then focus on blending it upward and adding a little bit of bronze above it to soften it up. And that way, if someone even has very wrinkly skin, afterward, when you let go of their skin and their eyes are done, you actually end up seeing an overall nice and dark appearance. Sorry, I'm just kind of wiping off everything that happened today. You end up seeing a nice dark eyeline, but it's just not sharp, and that way it's almost blurred, so even if they are wrinkly, you can't really, it doesn't highlight the wrinkles. As far as a wing is concerned, with the wing, I also would fade it and do a little smokiness around the wing too, because if the wing is super sharp and then you let go of the skin, the folds make the wing look really jagged. There's absolutely nothing you can do about that unless you're using the face tape, you know, the tape that like pulls your skin back. Which a lot of artists do, especially in drag and for theater. So if you have that, you know, that's cool too if they don't mind having a little facelift with their makeover, but usually I just don't go super sharp with mature ladies. The other question, Souls of Beauty _Nikki, hi love. For the black eyeshadow, she's asking what other brand is black aside from the Noir from Anastasia without looking charcoal. So the other one that I had mentioned during class is from Dose of Colors Hidden Treasures palette. Their black is pretty black. I've tried many other blacks, including Urban Decay, including you know, MAC and all them, and even the Inglot black eyeshadow, and I just everything ends up either too dusty where it just falls everywhere and doesn't last, or too chalky or too charcoaly where it just turns gray when you're blending it. The only two that I saw sustained that its black quality is the Anastasia Noir or the black from the Dose of Colors Hidden Treasure palette. So far. There could be more out there, I just haven't tried them. I also talked about, you know, if your eyes are very close to your nose, not to do the inner corner thing, so that's done. Hina_ma is asking about eyeliner that actually stays put in the waterline. I have big eyes, so I don't know if that's why my waterline is always running or what. I've tried Urban Decay 24/7 for the waterline as well as Aqua Eyes, but nothing seems to work. Help. You should totally try the Inglot gel liner and set it with a black eyeshadow, and that should absolutely last like literally forever until you remove it. It should keep lasting. It's insane how long this stuff lasts. Even on my most watery girls, she was super watery, it lasted. It did amazing today in class. I do it on all my brides. I always set it with black eyeshadow too. I never just leave it. I always set it. So if you don't want to get the Inglot one, or if you want to try it with your own liners, do your liner, set it with black eyeshadow, and then see if that lasts long enough. And if it doesn't, then try the Inglot one and set that with black eyeshadow, and that should do the trick. Oh, thank you, Zabrizi _ You also answered the question, the same exact thing, setting it with black eyeshadow. So it's definitely a known trick. That's awesome. Let's see what else. And by the way, the Inglot one is the blackest black. For all of you asking what's the blackest black eyeliner, the Inglot AMC Gel Liner number 77, that's like the one. A lot of questions about mature skin. I should do a new class on mature skin, on super wrinkly skin, just so you guys can see what I mean by the smudging thing. There's a semi-personal question. Angel Flower, who's really wanted to ask me a lot for a really long time, but usually my online classes is when she's sleeping. So now that it's in the daytime, she's awake, and I'm gonna answer this question because I am so happy that you're finally watching live. It's a question regarding my traveling, if I ever fly to Afghanistan. Also, what is your homeland beside India? And this is specific for a bridal makeover full package. I really hope you answered my question. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I think you're talking about your wedding makeup and hair. There are certain things that are preventing me from traveling right now because of certain projects that are going on, which you guys will totally find out about really soon, I promise. Just keep an eye out on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and all those things for the huge announcements of all the upcoming things that are happening this year and next year, which that's why I had to stop my tour. So I'm not really able to travel at the moment. I never really planned on going to Afghanistan, only because of, my family being lovely and strict, and wanting me to travel to very, very secure areas only. My background, I'm half Afghan, half Indian. My mom is from India, my dad's from Afghanistan. I've been to India before. I was only 13 and now I'm 31, so that was like a million years ago, and it's probably nothing like that anymore. My brides go all the time, they come back with like stories, and I love hearing about India. Definitely want to go back sometime, but it would have to wait for another year or two, most likely. So good luck with your wedding. I'm so happy for you. That's so exciting. Oh, I love weddings. All right, let's go back to the questions again. A lot of the same question, which I've already applied. That's cool. A beer official is asking how to prevent raccoon eyes afterwards. So also, you know how I was talking about doing the waterline and then setting it with black eyeshadow? That will prevent the raccoon eyes. It will prevent any melting from happening, any moving from happening. Basically, how her eyes look right now is how her eyes are going to look until she physically removes it with a makeup wipe or something. It's not gonna move. She could be shooting in the desert in like 120-degree weather, sweating from head to toe, and her eyeliner will not budge. So Inglot eyeliner, set with black eyeshadow, and smudge the bottom a little bit so it doesn't look so black and crazy, and you should be fine. I talked about the brushes already in the beginning of class. By the way, the class is being recorded, so you guys can watch it over and over again. I have all the brushes listed right in the beginning of class. Oh, here's a good question. Morgan NJ, J-A-I, is asking any tips on how to do a cat eyeliner on almond-shaped eyelids that fold in the inner corner. So you know how you get sometimes a folded inner corner here? It's very difficult to do a straight line over the fold. You literally have to stretch the skin, make your line, and then let go, and then draw over the areas that moved. So it's so hard to explain. I literally have to do it on someone with a fold right now for you, which I don't have anyone here with a fold. But one of the, I guess I slightly kind of may have one. Probably not. But one of the things you could do is go along, like if the fold folds downward, you can make your cat eyeliner more downward in that area. But if you're really hoping for that straighter inner cat eyeliner, you have to be very, very careful. I've done it several times on my brides, but it just takes a really long time because I have to make my line while her eyes are stretched out. And then when her eyes are not stretched out, just looking straight ahead, I have to retrace where I would want to see that black, and then I fill it in. Usually when you go nice and thick on a fold, it will work. If you go too thin, it's gonna get jagged. So I start off thin and I go thicker and thicker and thicker until I see that it overall looks amazing. And then I have to set it with black eyeshadow. Otherwise, if she tears and it goes into her fold, it's gonna ruin that area of the liner. So you have to set it with black eyeshadow as well. And I already talked about creasing, the eyeliner creasing up during class. I will try my best. A lot of you are loving the daytime classes. I will try my best to add more daytime classes. Another, I have a lot of really cool announcements for DYFL, which I'll talk to you guys about a little later once we like really solidify things. But one of those ideas is actually having, am I allowed to say it? The office hour thing? I'm just gonna say it. Can I say like one of the cool things that we're thinking of?
Sure, yeah.
Like the office hour thing? Okay. All right. I just got the okay from boss man. So I was thinking of holding office hours for really cool private Q&As with you guys streaming straight from my cell phone. So I don't even have to be in the studio to do those. These are office hours where you guys can reach me and ask me questions directly just by streaming on your phone. It's gonna be really cool. I'll give you more details once I have all the details out, but those will be like during the day, during the night, like random times where I can reach most of you from different time zones. So if you guys ever are like, damn, she always does nighttime classes and it's late in the middle of the night here, I can never ask my questions or like talk to her, this is your chance to like really talk to me for real, because it's gonna be like FaceTime kind of. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be amazing. So I will definitely give you more information on that, but I hear you and I agree with you and I'm making it happen. Let's see. Only a couple questions left. Yay, we're almost done, you guys. So, I already talked about the crinkly eyelids. What eyeliner and eyeliner brush do you recommend? This whole class was all about that, so definitely go back and watch it if you missed it. Where is the glitter eyeliner from? It is Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liners. I have every single color from Urban Decay, because sometimes I have a bride that's wearing a purple or like a midnight blue or a hot pink magenta, and I don't necessarily want to carry every color loose glitter with me. But these skinny little liners are so easy to pack in my bag, in my makeup kit, so I just carry all of them, and then if I need to add a little sparkle to their look, I can easily do it in any color. It's really cool. They're about 20 bucks each, so what I did was I started off with just a few of my favorites. Like I only bought the silver one, the gold one, and the pale pink one. And then as I was earning more money and able to replenish my kit a little bit better, then I started loading up on the rest. I didn't buy all of them at once. I definitely, started with my favorites and then started buying the rest. And then now Urban Decay has been showing me some love back after all these years. So I'm very thrilled that I have backups now at my disposal. And Jessica18XPY is asking, do you like brushing on eyeliner more or in eyeliner pen? Why? I guess it depends on my patience level that day. We all go through our days where we're like, oh, I don't have time for this, or oh my God, I'm like it's not happening. Or days where I'm just super detailed and like extra attentive to little things. So on the days where I feel like I definitely can spend more time and really just take my time, I'll do gel eyeliner with a brush. And then on days where I really gotta quickly just get through, like let's say if there's like a ton of clients back to back and I really can't go over my back to back schedule and there's no gap in between, then I'll go ahead and sometimes use a liquid, but or a felt tip pen. But I also keep in mind, are they brides or not? Because if they're brides, I really, really want to focus more on items that will not budge. So that gel liner with a brush is the one that's for sure never going to budge. And then, you know, for a party or like a more, you know, laid back event or something, then I'll be a little bit more lenient with what I'm using. But I can pretty much assure you, even the liquid liners, because I do use so many layers of product and I'm making sure that everything I'm doing is very water resistant, even those don't budge. But I just don't take a chance with brides. So brides, I spend that extra time and I do it with the brush and everything every time. And then non-bridals, sometimes I'll do liquid, sometimes I'll do the liner. And final question. Oh my God, I just like refreshed and now there's like a bunch more. Laura G _143. My question is, why are you so cute? I love you. She's so funny. And then, let's see. Okay, I think, oh my God, I think that's it. That's all the questions. Yay! So, you guys, I really want to see your before and afters. I really, really want to see as you progress. You don't have to do the after now. I want you to practice. I want you to watch this class over and over again. I want you to write down whatever questions you have for me regarding this class or any of my past classes, so that once I start my office hours, you can ask me during the office hours too, and I can answer your questions that way too. I really, really, really want to make sure you guys have this down. Eyeliner is just one of those things that, you know, it just takes a while to get it perfect, and I don't expect you guys to get it perfect right away, but it's awesome if you do. But definitely don't beat yourself up. I want you to practice again. And then once you feel like you're like kind of understanding these techniques and you're getting used to it, I want to see how was your eyeliner before and how was your eyeliner after practicing the techniques from class. And I will showcase my favorites on my Snapchat. Just make sure when you're posting on Instagram that you're tagging me and that you're not private profile, because if you're a private profile, it's not gonna show up, so you gotta be public. Especially if you're a makeup artist, you should be public anyways. And what else? Hashtag Dress Your Face Live. So in case I don't see my tag, I can see the Dress Your Face Live tag and find you that way. So I can't wait to see your recreations. And then in another few days, I have another really cool class coming up, which is a day to night class. It's an office makeup look that I'm gonna teach you how to do like a really quick and easy, like 15-minute office makeup tutorial, and then how to change it into a really sexy evening look for a night out. So Office to Date Night is the name of that class coming up next. And then I'm gonna keep taking your requests. So whatever requests you guys have for classes, I'm gonna keep adding them to the schedule. This is gonna be an epic year. I'm just so excited for all the cool things we have planned for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now, and we will talk on Snapchat and Instagram. If you guys wanna connect with me, Instagram comments is usually the best way, but I will definitely let you know when office hours start so we can kind of have a little bit more of a relationship here. Love you guys, thank you so much. Mwah. Bye.